Hello, peoples, or tweeples. Like the new hair, or rather, lack thereof. Yeah, it's summertime, so it was time to get a cut. What I want to talk about today is immigration, or rather, our broken system of immigration. And I call it broken because it's based on concepts that are almost 100 years old. It really is in need of reform because it's not keeping up with how technology and society is changing as a whole. You see, most countries on this planet revolve on one of two concepts: right of blood or right of soil, which means you're either born a citizen because your parents were citizens, or you're born a citizen because you were born in the country. Well, the U.S. does both, right of blood and right of soil. Most countries have abandoned right of soil, and they stick completely with right of blood. The right of soil argument creates what we call the anchor baby problem, where illegals can be here, they have a child here, then their child is a citizen because it was born here. And we can't split up the family, so the illegals get to stay here. Needless to say, I disagree with this logic. What we need to do is we need to dump right of soil and switch to right of blood. With right of blood, and it's much more complex than just saying we go to the right of blood. Because what if one parent is a citizen and the other is not? How would you deal with that? It's actually not as bad as it seems, since if both your parents are citizens, you're automatically a citizen. If none of your parents are citizens, you're not a citizen. Now, if you have a parent that's a citizen, it's a little bit more complicated, because obviously you were most likely raised here, and even if you weren't raised here, still half of your exposure from your parents' culture is based upon this country. So therefore, at age of 18, I believe you should be given the option to declare your citizenship to this country. And you should be put at the front of the line because one of your parents is a citizen. Now, at birth, it brings up the presidential argument over natural-born citizen. How would you classify someone a natural-born citizen? Not necessarily that both of your parents, well, not even both your parents. Both your parents have to be legal residents when you're born, and they have to be citizens by the time you are old enough to become a citizen yourself. And that brings up another issue. What if your parents are legal residents, but they're not citizens of the country and you're born here? Well, that would be the same argument as if one parent is a citizen and the other is not. You still have the right at 18 to become a citizen. But since your parents were legal residents here, and as long as they're citizens by the time you turn 18, you are a natural-born citizen, because they were following the legal process to become citizens of this country while you were born and growing up. Now, how to deal with the illegal problem? That's a little bit more complicated. Definite punishment to businesses that knowingly hire illegals, connecting the Social Security system to the E-Verify system, because If you run a check on the number of places a single social security card number, excuse me, a bug. Sorry, bugs. But it's such a nice day I had to be outside. If you run a check on the number of jobs that are paying tax to a single social security number, obviously if you get 10, 12, 15, 20 jobs that are paying tax on that single social security number, and they're in multiple locations, it doesn't take that much to assume that there are a number of people using that social security number. And then you can send ICE in to crack down and figure out which people are illegal and kick them out. That's it. No trial, no hearing. If you are illegal, you are not protected by our Constitution. Oh, I can hear the ACLU screaming at the top of their lungs as I say that. Well, guess what? The Constitution is supposed to provide God-given rights, but that doesn't mean it's the responsibility of this country to enforce them for all. It is the responsibility of the United States to protect the rights of the citizens of the United States, not to protect the rights of the citizens of Mexico or Iraq or Nigeria or China. That is not the job of our government. That is foreign affairs, which is a completely different issue because it's international, it's not domestic. So I'm not going to buy the argument put forth by the ACLU that once you're here, you're protected by constitutional rights, or because we put terrorists in Gitmo that they have constitutional rights. I don't give a damn about the rights of terrorists in Gitmo. I don't give a damn about people that are here illegally. They are lawbreakers, and if they were spies, they would have no rights. So I'm not buying any liberal argument otherwise. If you treat illegals harsh enough, if you cause enough problems and barriers to prevent their entry into the country illegally, then those who are good people, they will follow the legal path. And as for the amnesty argument and the humanitarian argument and the lies that have come from my side of the aisle with Mr. Ryan, Representative Paul Ryan, they will not help our economy. These are people who are uneducated. The majority are uneducated. You have a certain percentage that are educated that came here as college students and they overstayed their student visas. That's a completely separate argument, and I'm not willing to give them special treatment either. But the majority of illegals are uneducated. They do not speak English. They will never truly fit into American society. Not to mention the fact of the burden of adding 10 to 30 million people instantly to the melting pot. You cannot add that much spice to a stew without destroying the stew. The reason why we have been such a success as the melting pot is because bit by bit people have come from overseas. They have added their culture and they have changed our culture. So they became Americans, and they also changed what it meant to be an American. So we deal with illegals harshly. They will not benefit society. They will be more of a burden in taxes and costs associated with welfare programs than they will benefit us through their efforts at working. You can look at any statistics you want. And we don't need the uneducated labor. We need to reform our welfare program or eliminate our welfare program. That will force people to choose between working and eating or not working and not eating. Most people will choose to go ahead and eat rather than to eat and work rather than starve and sit on their ass. We have plenty of uneducated people. Look at the graduation rates. All we have to do is just provide encouragement for those people to grab the bottom rung of the ladder and then want to pull themselves up, instead of trying to provide everyone with a working wage and all that other liberal garbage. So think about it. No amnesty, no illegals. Real change comes with securing the border, making it unattractive for illegals to come here, keeping an eye on visas, student visas, and other work visas that of the people that are here, so we know when they're here, and we know that they actually leave when their visa is up. That is real immigration reform. And of course, we also have to improve the process of becoming a citizen. But we need to be able to control who has the right to come here, because it's not a right, it's a privilege. It's not a right to live in the United States of America, just like it's not a right for you to have a driver's license. They are both privileges. You are privileged to be an American citizen. Remember that. Anyone that says otherwise can kiss my lily white ass.